Today, we're going to talk about your voice. There are three aspects I want to talk about today. One is pitch, one is meter, and one is intensity. They are interconnected, although they're labeled separately, and we will look at that interconnection later on in the video. Now, before I get into talking about pitch, meter, and intensity, let me just give you a little background as to what motivated me to make this particular show. So earlier this week, I'm online, I'm sitting in front of the computer, I got a cup of coffee, and I'm watching this professional speaker trainer coach tell me about 6 or 8 or 9 points that I should know about to become a more effective speaker. Along about the 3/4 of the way through this thing, this person introduces the idea of voice. You don't want to speak in a flat, monotone voice, it's boring, people will tune you out, whatever. And up till that time, the entire video had been delivered in a flat, monotone, uninflected voice. I thought I was going to die, and that person winds up talking about that, talking in that, about that. And I sat back and I thought, well, this is kind of absurd, you know, telling people not to do exactly what you're exemplifying. And I thought I could do better than that. And I know we've talked about voice before, but let's revisit it and make sure you really have a handle on certain aspects of your voice and your delivery. Well, let's talk about pitch. Now, we know what pitch is. It's the highness and lowness of our voice. What we may not be aware of is that the pitch of our voice can change depending how we're speaking. Now, if you're speaking rapidly, if there's a point in your presentation where you start to accelerate your speaking speed, it's very possible the pitch of your voice is going to increase also. And that may not be what you want to produce at that point in your presentation, but that may be the result of the increase of your speaking speed. So you want to be aware of that because you want to produce the result with your audience that you intend. Another point that could increase the pitch of your voice is stress. Now, we've talked about stress before. We know that generally we hold stress in our shoulders and our neck, and if we do that, if we're stressed out for whatever reason, it's very possible that the vocal cords could be stressed, constricted, and increase the pitch of our voice. Now, that may not be the result you're looking for, but the unintended consequences of stress could be an increase in the pitch of your voice. Now, meter refers to the speed of your delivery, the speed of your speaking. Too slow, and you're going to bore people. On the other hand, if you deliver some information too quickly, then people can't follow you, and you're going to lose people that way. So now there's the conundrum. What do? I think that the proper speed is the speed that simply allows your message to be understood. It allows your message to be comprehended, maybe even evaluated while you're speaking. That's the proper speed. Looking at meter, then, what's the right way to deal with it? Well, the right way, I think, is to use the information in your speech, in your presentation, to determine the speed at which you should deliver that information. Now, in terms of meter, you should consider the audience. Remember, we've looked at audience analysis in the past. And here's how it comes into effect with meter. If I'm talking about a technical topic to a technically cognizant, a technically educated audience, then I might not be so concerned about my speed of speaking, of presentation. On the other hand, if I was dealing with a non-technical audience and I felt that they were sitting there, they came to this meeting essentially to have me educate them, then I'd be pretty careful how quickly I presented my information because I want them to get it. And I'm concerned that if I speak too rapidly, it may go right past them, and that's not why I'm there. Okay, let's move on to talk about intensity. Intensity essentially is emotions. And I hope that you have an emotional attachment of some sort or an emotional investment in the topic you're presenting today. Your audience may not be where you are. You can't expect them to be. Some of the people in the audience may exactly understand where you are and be very supportive. A lot of other people may not be. And you don't want to make the mistake of keeping the entire crowd up at a high-pitched, high-frenzy emotional level if they're not ready to be there. Let them see what you have to say. Let them feel your emotion. Let them process it. At the end of the day, or the next day, or a week from this point, they may in fact feel exactly the way you do. But give them time to get there. The one aspect of emotions that I caution you about is don't inject it artificially into your presentation. Because if you're not good at that, your audience will pick that up. It will look artificial, they'll feel manipulated, and you risk losing them completely. Don't go there. Be true to yourself and be true to your message. Okay, remember back to the beginning of this show when I said that all three of these aspects of your voice, the pitch, the meter, the intensity, were connected, interconnected, I think I said? Well, they are. The fact is, all of these aspects can be script-driven, content-driven. Yes, that can be modified by your feeling about what you're presenting, but what you have in the words can affect all three of these aspects of your vocal delivery. So that should make it kind of easy. And it should prevent you from coming up with a flat, monotone presentation that puts everybody to sleep, and you have to run around with a cowbell at the end of the presentation, waking everybody up, telling them, time to go home. You don't want to do that. Avoid that. Pay attention to pitch, pay attention to meter, and pay attention to intensity. Let it be driven by an honest connection with the script that you've written. Thanks for visiting. I hope you got something good out of this show. Happy speaking, and I'll see you next time.